Okay, fair. I know why you're here. You have your resume, which is getting rejected every time you're applying for the jobs, right? And then what you're doing, you're going on YouTube, find the best resume templates for your specific roles like data scientist, machine learning engineer, and following some so-called advice given by so-called FANG engineers or data scientists. And then even following that, you are brutally getting rejected for an interview. As I was a fresher, I didn't had such MNC stack. What I really used to do, I used to try out different test strategies, different resumes. I used to try out some other set of things that could potentially land me an interview. And then I found a way. I found some of the tips and some of the strategy which actually helped me to land interviews at the top international startups. And still, that resume works like a charm. And in this step, I'm not going to give you, hey, you have to put this words, that words. No, I'm going to give you step-by-step framework from thinking about resume to actually developing it. For a quick disclaimer, this video is not for the one who has already done some FANG. I don't have hate towards them. Just this video might be a little bit overwhelming for them or over-exaggerated for them. But this video is entirely for freshers, for someone who does not have a big names associated with them. First, let's talk about what exactly the core problem in it. Let's assume you have some resume and then there's one job opening comes, let's say a data scientist role. And you will see that in a matter of no time, thousands of job applicants will be applying to that particular job. Some are better than you, some are worse than you, some are similar than you, but eventually everyone is doing the same thing. And to be honest, thousands of people apply to the particular job, which means that everyone is doing the same thing. And you are also included in that particular everyone. So that's a pretty concerning part. So you need to think that how I can do something different than all those 999 people who has applied that makes me stand out in front of the recruiter or whatever the hiring agency, and then gets you to the interview level. And this is the concept which I speak a lot, is having some differentiator. You just have to think a little bit extra in order to create that differentiator and possibly be a very high level differentiator than all those 909 people, irrespective of the fact whether their resume was good, bad, worse, whatever. And for me, the biggest fallback was that I was a teenager and nobody was taking a teenager seriously, and that was one of the biggest fallback which I was having. But still, I came up with some of the two top most differentiated thing which could actually help me to stand out from the crowd. So one other way is either I could potentially go ahead and make a better resume, have a lot of experiences into my section of MNCs, big international startups, etc. But to be honest, when I was starting out, I didn't really had all of this. And so that's why I was not even able to come up with this differentiator. Another differentiator is that you potentially cold email those recruiters and all sort of things, but they must be receiving hundreds of cold emails just for the sake that, okay, everyone is going to cold email. So this is what everyone is also doing. So I needed to come up with a very interesting combination of a resume which shows me high level of experienced guy, a subject matter expert, and I didn't want to showcase me desperate enough for the job. And that's what the master stroke comes in. So I asked some of my friends, so the one which are my close friends, is to email that recruiter, not saying that, okay, I want to get a job, saying that I know a guy who's pretty good at data science and he might be looking out for a change. You can potentially go and contact him. So over here, you're not taking a referral from the big people out here. You're just asking your friend, and then recruiter will eventually see that, because recruiter will not think that, okay, this guy wants a job. He will think, okay, this guy is referring someone who is experienced into this field. So when you actually do this, there are several challenges which comes forward. First of all, when he refers to you, you need to show, first of all, the best resume which you can ever have, even though if you don't have an experience. So we'll talk about how you can make a good resume in a matter of some time. But let's say if you want to make it a little bit, more good in terms of how you email folks, then what exactly I suggest is make a different Gmail account, with the different names and stuff, and then proclaim yourself, right? That, hey, you're working at this particular company. You don't have to tell a specific name, tell a specific company. You can choose a randomly and say that, hey, I've worked with this guy. He's quite amazing. And then potentially do that. But this involves several risks. See, the reason why I'm telling this is only for folks who does not have high set of qualifications but believes in their skill set. I know this is not a very legal way or very ethical way to do it, but you need to get to an interview anyway, right? And you need to do everything possible to get to the interview. So you need to apply each and everything. See, if they find out that you're not a good candidate and you have wasted their time, they will blacklist you. So be very cautious in doing this. I do not support this, but if you're confident with your skill, if you're confident, okay, this is something which you can do, so you have your best resume, then for sure you can give it a try, not by some MNC's name. Maybe you say that, okay, I'm the founder of some company, I can potentially refer one of my friend, and then you just ask your friend to actually refer you by emailing them. So you're not desperating that, okay, fair enough, I need this job, but you're asking someone to refer and then have that might, so that you're already working somewhere, you need to you might think about changing if some offer is better than previous one. Cold email from your friend about you will only work if and only if your resume was right. If your resume is presented in a right way, it should not be just random resume. It should be the right and resume which showcase you as a subject matter expert, the one you're super experienced in. So I'm going to give you some of the strategies, tips, and tricks for each and every sections of the resume. I'm going to take help from Beam Jobs, one of the best platform of resume building. Even I used to use it. It has several templates, several AI suggestions, several, it gives a specific scores too. So we'll be making use of Beam Jobs. Which will definitely help you out in building up your best resume which you can. So you can go on Beam Jobs, and then what you could do, you could go ahead and click on create a new resume. So this will give you several templates. So you have several options to choose from. Personally, I like professional, because if you're applying for a data science and stuff role, you need to go ahead and then check the professional one. You can also go to some other pro portfolios, but personally, I like professional for data related roles. So just go and click on use template. There are other features too, that you can choose an industry example. You can upload your existing resume, you can import your LinkedIn profile, or you can start with. So I'm just going to choose an industry example. That's where Beam Jobs is super helpful in, that you just go ahead and write your role. So let's say I write data scientist. And then you see a lot of resumes which is already built in for you, right? So you just go ahead and click on review resume for Amazon data scientist, and then click on use this resume. So once you have chosen the template, there are two secrets, two amazing signs which I see in a super successful resume. The first secret is resume is not about you. Sure, it includes your accomplishments and all the stuff, but again, your resume is not about you, because your resume is for the potential employer of your, that if they hire you, what benefits they will get from hiring you. And that's what your resume is for. You detail the benefits. In resume, you detail each and every single benefits that our potential employer recruiter will actually benefit from hiring you. So whenever you work towards your resume, you should always think that, okay, I will make my resume, and that resume should be targeted towards my employer. So what you need to do, you need to make your resume in a way that you are an irresistible choice, the so-called ideal candidate for a particular company, that they will get an immense value if they hire you as compared to other people. So it's like you are acting as a product, and then you're being sold to a company, and you're trying to advertise yourself towards the company that, okay, fair enough, these are the things which I have as a USP, please buy me. But one thing which I told, the ideal candidate, you might be thinking, who is the ideal candidate? What exactly do you mean by that ideal candidate? The ideal candidate is the one who is a great match for the company, and second, he does not only does the responsibilities or duties. That's a very interesting fact. And that's a very, very interesting point, which I'm going to tell you. And the second is the particular guy will provide the most value to the company on what's important to them. Essentially, the company or the employer would not only want you to complete the responsibilities in what is told. They want you to do things beyond what is told. They want you to figure out things beyond what is told. Even at second brain labs, we don't have that, okay, you have to work on Saturday, Sunday, or you can only get some leaves in per week, etc., etc. We don't have such rules. Just when we hire somebody, we just check whether they will do what's important to us and what's important to them. And if yes, then that guy is hired. If you want to take a leave, you can actually without telling us. But it is very important that we need to know that this guy is not only coming for the duties which is going to be given, but also he or she will go beyond the capabilities in order to get the shits done. So there might be multiple ways that you can target your resume. So the first thing which we talked about is thinking of a resume as an advertisement towards your future boss. Second is, in what is the ideal candidate? They want someone who goes beyond the capabilities, not only does the things which is on duties. But how you can target your resume to a particular job posting. For getting to know this, you need to do extensive research on what employer wants from you, either by via job description or by emailing them or talking to them or probably researching them around LinkedIn and stuff. So in most of the cases, there are 4 ways in which you can tweak your resume that showcase that you will provide the company in X ways. And you will provide the value to the companies in following 4 ways. One other way which you can provide the value to the company is making money for the company, because every businesses exists to make money. So if it's a startup and they have listed some ads data science role where you need to build their ad search engine and potentially improve their ad. So this is how you have to tweak your resume based on what exactly employer wants. Some employer might be saying, okay, fair enough, I want to increase my efficiency, I need to cut down my time, I need to cut down my cost which is being incurred, and such more ways. And the best way that you can prove that you can provide this value is by telling that you have already done this in past, even though you have not done this. But it's all about the right wording which you will choose in order to make them believe that you have done this in past. So now that's where the main section comes, the experience section. So let's go back to the Beam jobs and then try to fill our experience section. So there are 3 very important pillars in experience section which you have to tweak your responsibilities and stuff, which is the first one is it focuses on your achievements, not duties. The second component and the second pillar of your great experience section, it quantifies your particular experiences. Several people tell about quantification. I will tell you the right way to do it. And third one is it starts with an action verb, which means that you have had a success in doing this particular thing. And then let's get back to Beam jobs. First of all, if you potentially see over here, so there's contact, you can just go ahead and change your contact. We will come to all of these contact section and all, and then you go to education. If you have any education out there, you can simply go and put that out there. And then you have your work experience. That's where the key things comes into place. So as of now, they've already added some stuff. I'm gonna just go ahead and add a new row. So over here, you can add your company name, the job title, and what exactly. So let's assume I put replayed, and then I put DS. You can put your more personalized job title because I just want to showcase you how to write the experience, and click on continue. And that's the main section, is adding the work responsibility. Over here, you already have a lot of sample work responsibilities for a data science role. You can also go ahead and see other set of roles, but there are a lot of already things out there. You can actually take inspiration from here. And then now, while writing the work experience, there are certain things which I want you to know. And the first one is focusing on achievements, not duties. As I said earlier, the employer does not want you to just do what is required, but go beyond the capabilities. To articulate the achievements section, to articulate this particular component, we use CAR method, which is what challenge you faced into a particular company, what action you did to overcome that challenge, and what was the outcome of that particular challenge, or the action which you did onto a particular challenge. To show you practically at Replayed, so the challenge was that there was a heavy cost in previous data scientists who didn't knew to solve the creators economy product, and we had a very low cost for R&D development at Replayed. So action was that I cut down the cost in a lot of aspects. I just hired a junior intern to execute the process of research and development. I consulted the top meta executives in order to get things done. Okay, what I'm doing is correct. And then got replayed the UK government grant, which had us more money in order to help us into R&D development. So the result was we built the top creators economy product, which is being used by thousands of people around the world. We end up securing the UK government grant, which recovered most of the cost which went away previously. And then, using this challenge, action, and result, you can prepare maybe one line or a couple of work responsibilities which showcase, okay, this is what your final achievement section is. In Beam jobs, you can go ahead and then add it, overhaul this. In over here, we also end up building other set of creator economy product, which actually help the companies to boost up their revenue, etc., etc. But yeah, this is the first responsibility. Over here, I'm showing my achievements, not the duties which I did. So lots of people go ahead and write that, okay, responsible for working on this. This does not really helps. The best resume I have ever seen, they showcase the numbers. And that's where you need to quantify yourself. Everything, whatever you do, can be quantified. When it comes to resumes, don't just tell that you've done this and that. Instead, show them. Numbers is equals to results. Results is equals to value. So if I were to write my section in particular numbers, I could potentially go and write that following. I cut down the replayed R&D costs and secured 100k UK government grant, leading a team to develop and launch a new connect creator in just 4 months. So this is where I showcased my numbers to actually quantify my whatever I said previously. So basically, first of all, I told them and then I proved them with my numbers. You can find several suggestions on Beam Jobs on the specific set of numbers, like let a 3 to model 5 unique ways, report results, and make recommendations to increase our output by 9%. So let's say you don't have experience. So what you could eventually do, you must have done something in a resume that impacted your numbers. You must have used some other models that impacted your numbers or something that impacted your numbers. So very easily, you can write all of that and then just say that you were working in a stealth startup. And the third most important pillar, third most important component, which is show via action verb. So basically, most of the people go ahead and write responsible for managing 7 employees to accomplish XYZ. So what you do, you just remove that responsible for and start with a verb, the action verb, the success verb, which is managed 7 people to accomplish XYZ, which shows that you set a charm that, okay, you did this and actually this helped the company. These success verbs demonstrates the result or success of things which already happened to you. You can go ahead and find several action success verbs in the resume, or you can use Beam Jobs. It already have a lot of action verbs involved. If you're a fresher, what I would highly suggest is whatever project you have worked on till now, you can just name it as a stealth startup, and probably you can have some experience. There are a lot of companies who are providing free experience. You just go ahead and do some internship. So it's like stealth startup, some other companies, and probably just make up your own things if you truly believe yourself, and then write whatever you have done into that project, into that particular thing. Most of my students have done it and got the job. And even when I was starting out my career, I did that. See, again, I'm not supporting this. I'm saying if you believe into your skill and nobody's giving you a chance, then this is the way to go forward. I was a teenager, I didn't got a chance. That's why I had to choose this. A lot of people who come from a tier 3 cities. I know several people will come and bash me off for telling unethical things. But hear me out. Those guys are the FANG people. Those guys are the people who easily get the job because of the good college degrees. I have a huge respect for them because they've worked for it. But even now, you understood later at a point that, okay, now it's like, okay, you got serious, but you're not getting opportunities even though you have the good talent. It's just because that you can try all of these tactics and strategies because you do believe in your skill, your peers believe in your skill, and then you have to fill up your skills section. So you can go ahead to the Beam Jobs, and then they have already listed some of the skills, which I just highly suggest to leave it as it is, or you can even add more. But you should add the skills which is diversified. You should not just add very specific set of skills, which is diversified, so that that skill can be used not only for data science roles, for machine learning engineering roles. So you should be very careful with the keywords you use, because sometimes ATS resumes actually pick up resumes based on the skills which you're going to write. You can also take help from a JD, which is job description, put it in GPT and ask GPT to take out the set of skills which could potentially you can add it over here and get it done. And then in the career objective, you summarize what you have written into your resume. This should be a very crisp and short summary of what you have written. So one of the best way is to hook them up into it so that they continue reading it. So you can add a very specified summary hook, which makes them believe, okay, I need to go further. The way it is written over here for an Amazon, dynamic data scientist with a strong foundation, eager to join Amazon world class. So it's like you're already applying to the job and then you're saying to the company, I'm eager to join because of this. So you hook them with something and then you potentially move forward. So now you have done your experience section by having those 3 components. You have added your skills section, you have added your objective, and then what's left is to get advice. Now, if you go on several other platforms, you'll get advice and they cost you $100 for an hour to get advice. You don't have to. You go on a Beam Jobs. and then click on improvements. And once you click on improvements, you'll see all those things which is going wrong out here. You go ahead and fix those things and click on recalculate. It will give you a good score. The higher the score is, the better it is. So I would suggest highly utilize Beam Jobs because I personally use it for my students, and I highly suggest you guys to also do it. So I know this video went too long, but I really hope that this video actually helped you out. I told you several other tips and tricks where you can apply to the jobs. If you want, I can come up with a more detailed video on how you should apply to particular jobs, but this video was entirely a mini course on resume development. I hope you really liked it. And to be honest, Beam Jobs didn't sponsor it. I would really ask Beam Jobs to sponsor me. Never mind. Okay, good. So let me know what you think about it. All the links is in the description box below. You can go ahead and check that out.